Hey folks, how you doing out there today? Remo back, and we are out on the Highway Haulin 2 region, map 2 that I've been working on for a couple weeks now. Coming along real good, and we are actually going to be going for a log run. We're going to do a long log haul from this map all the way over to the map 1 loading area, which kind of cheated here because the contract works when I add the two maps together. I haven't actually started adding any missions yet, but I can deliver the long logs I added on map 2 over to map 1. Now, our vehicle choice today is the Freight Lion by Iceberg. I just got to remember which way we're going here, making a left. I haven't had this out other than the one video. I had it in earlier and I really haven't taken it off-road too much, so I figured it might be a fun truck to try for this haul. The trailer is from Olson's trailer pack. Can't remember which one. I think it's the one that's just called the trailer pack. I'll link all the mods down below like usual. All the Olson trailers are pretty good setups. Most of them are fairly light, so you don't sacrifice a lot of your power hauling the rig behind, or the trailer behind you. See in the background, got a few driveways added in around here, so I'm really starting to add in a lot more rural properties. I'm not going to have any real big town gatherings in this one. It's going to be just larger detached properties that you're going to run into, and some little hunting cabins and maybe some fishing spots, things like that you're going to run into around, but nothing super populated in this one. This road you've actually would have seen in, it might have been the very first video, but we're actually heading down the roads that the logging road that over by the one we did in one of the Remo builds videos. All this has just kind of recently been added in, and this is basically when you cross that bridge we just got across, you're going to start getting into more off-road stuff. Now, if we had made a left when we come off the bridge there, we would head over to the off-road part. This way we're kind of heading out to the logging pickup areas. There's going to be, right now there's two, I may add a third. It's going to be all long logs, but there's only going to be a limited amount at each station, so you're going to end up going to at least two of them if there ends up being more than two, because there's going to be a few other log missions than just the lumber mill delivery. This is also the road that you're going to take to get out to the old rocket factory, I guess I would call. And we're going to haul a few things for a task back over to map 1 most likely. Also going to be a few recoveries out this way. We better give ourselves a little bit of ground clearance. It's going to get rougher from here. I have the vanilla tires. I can't remember which set on this. I was going to use the cheaters, but I wanted to do this test and see what kind of mud depth I have. And I know Iceberg's typically pretty good for the vanilla tires, being what you would expect realistically out of a tire. So I went for that. I've done a little bit of adjusting in this area. I've put a lot more rutting and ditches and stuff in the roads. So it should be a pretty tough haul. I opted for the highway gearbox on this one purely because we have a fair bit of asphalt road to cover on our way back out after we get back out of here. We're going to take the second right. And again, this is going to be one of the challenges of this map, is trying to pick a tire. I picked an off-road tire that had good asphalt traction, good mud traction, and excellent off-road traction, because I know I'm going to have to drive on a little bit of everything in this trip, so it was a little bit of thought into which tire you wanted to put on the truck for sure. So far I'm liking the challenge of the road. By no means would I call this an OP truck at all for the limited time I've played with it, but You can usually get an indication pretty quickly. I think I have the second motor on this. Usually the go-to middle of the road is the one I pick from most mods. From here on in, once we get off that more main road, it's definitely your, not cutting path, but you're gonna fight a lot harder to get through. There's gonna be a lot more up and down. I'm interested to see if I've overdone it anywhere. Give me your opinion on what you're seeing so far. This is like 90% done, but I am definitely up for still adjusting it, especially if anyone doesn't like what they see or would like to see something else. If we had headed straight through there, there's going to be a tower mission that's up that trail. It's going to be a delivery kind of carrying on from the, I think it was a comm mission I called it, in map 1. So it's just going to kind of have a few more spots over on this map and even more when I get into the third map eventually. This is definitely not easy. I do miss having those 3 low gears in the off-road gearbox. Kind of stuck using automatic. The low gears really pretty slow, so you want to save that for when you really need it. But I think if I had to pick the off-road gearbox, the road driving would seem awfully slow. Now I guess there's always an option. This is going to have a buildable garage that isn't too far away from where we head in to do the logs. You could switch gearboxes and then switch back when you come out of the bush, but I haven't added in the garage, let alone built it, so I don't have that. I don't have any fuel stations or anything. We're gonna have to do the dev tools fill up if we need fuel at some point in this trip. You can see we're getting down to swamp level here. Really shooting for this mud to be not a game changer. I don't want you to get stuck down here. It's more ambient fun mud, we'll say. Kind of adds to the look down below. See, I've started kind of laying in stumps and cleared out some of the trees like you would see if you were logging an area. So we're really getting close. I got most of the mud added in. There's another huge swamp all the way along here. There's going to be some trails to just play around on in it. And all the swamps are good to go for a run. You're going to find all sorts of mud, different depths, as you kind of cruise around them. Yeah, it's working pretty hard with the log load here. But doing good in the mud. I think I picked the right tire. We'll see when we get on the slipperier roads. I do want to add in a few more like little log piles and stuff along here. Some piles of sticks and stuff. You know, the general things you'd see if there was logging going on in a certain area. Quite happy with the look so far though. This is literally the first time I've been back over on this side of the map in game since I think the first video, like I said. Guess it's time to see what this thing's made of coming back out of here. It's going to be, obviously, as you saw, uphill all the way. Both logging areas are kind of down the hill. Down by the swamp. There's actually a road that connects the two that goes through the swamp. So your way back up with the load of logs is always going to be a little bit tougher. Don't think I need to do a whole lot to this trail. It's looking pretty good. It's definitely challenging to drive. Seems like there's the right amount of rocks. They're enough to be annoying, but not blowing up your suspension. Maybe a little bit more with the fallen trees and stuff around, although we get up around the corner here and there's plenty. And I cut the corner. This is classic, isn't it? Especially with these logging trailers. Oh, this thing's got a bit of power. Bouncing the front tires right off the ground there. Alright, we'll see if we can kind of drag this thing around and fix the oopsie cut in the corner. I know better than that. Gonna leave that tree there. See who else it gets. Okay, wiggle it around a bit. Come around the corner like I should have first. What are we stuck on now? Serious. Yeah, I had the winch still connected. Lovely. I'm sure that's never happened to anyone else. Would love to hear anyone's thoughts on the new DLC. In general, the 990, the Kenworth, sounds like... I haven't got it yet, but it doesn't have all-wheel drive, which kind of sucks. And sounds like it's, as with a few of the last DLC trucks, sounds like it doesn't have a whole lot of power either. I don't know, Iceberg has his 990 and it's one of my go-to trucks for sure. It would be hard to top that one. It's very well made. The tire pack. I've seen mixed reviews. Some of them from what I've seen are more or less just retextured, where some of them actually have some treads and stuff on them. And I guess I saw somewhere, I'm not sure where, that they were talking about, might have been Reddit, about them being just cosmetic. I personally think for the time it takes to add in the values, although they may be similar to the other tires, I would certainly think Sabre would spend the time and make them their own tire. I mean, tweaking those values is pretty minimal. It's copy and paste in terms of the coating. I don't know why they wouldn't go the extra mile and just put new textures on the old tires, but who knows in this world nowadays. I've said it before, but I sometimes wonder if the reason some of us map makers put out maps that are a little more interesting is a lot because we do it because we damn well enjoy it. And we're passionate. And I just wonder, like so many of the game companies, when you're getting paid to do it and push through it as quick as you can, whether it's the developer's choice or not, things just don't come out with the same kind of heart. I read somewhere, it might have been in the Discord, but somebody saying it was like every second mission now is called Lost Truck, deliver this. Like there's just not much heart in it. I don't know. I spend a heck of a lot of time trying to put some reason in life and some passion into building these adventures. I really do sometimes wonder if I've overdone a few things or if it's still getting through to folks, but everyone for the most part seems to be enjoying it. I get my usual few downvotes when I load up a mod. I wonder, it's either some folks don't like me or maybe the localization thing, although I don't think most realize the just insane amount of work it takes to localize things with the limited resources to do so as well. That wasn't too bad of a haul back up the hill. All in all, I'm pretty happy with it. You're going to be in and out of here a few times. And there's going to be some smaller trails that hook up with some of the stuff on the other side, so you don't necessarily have to take this road, although it's probably going to be your largest road option that doesn't go through a swamp, because the other side of this is also a swamp. There's a lot of mud actually in this one. And I will have a few tasks that take you out into the swamp, whether it be a few recoveries. There's the, if you saw in the last video, I think it was, going down the side of the river, there is a pipe delivery, and you're going to have to take them to the far side of the river. In fact, I think it's going to be 4 large pipe delivery, and I think I'm going to do 2 on each side, as in how far the crane could reach. I don't know. Mix it up a little bit. I did add in a building to make a crafting station on this map as well. I think what I'm going to do with that is give you the ability to craft the same things in each crafting warehouse on each map. So if you find yourself by one of them and you may need something for the other map, but you have the cargo there, you can kind of make it, carry on. And as I've said before, I have heard people say that, or seen, my apologies, I've seen people say that it's kind of a nice place to store things and make your own little warehouse between the maps, which I think is going to become more relevant as it turns into a 3 and 4 map region. I've had a few comments that map 1 just kind of didn't do it for a few folks, and I totally get it, because I've really kind of tried to build it for the long run, in terms of you won't see the full scope of everything until all the maps are together. But I also wanted to make a good standalone version, because obviously Switch is only going to get the single maps. I will put this one out in a single map version. I don't think it's going to have a ton of tasks, like we're probably talking 15 in the single map version. But definitely a bunch of recoveries and a few things to haul around. Just some of the tasks are intertwined between the 2 maps, so it's hard to do too much. And now we're back cruising. Started to add in a few signs and stuff. I tried to finish up the path we were going to take here a little bit more, so you could see a bit more of the finished product. Fuel's definitely going to be an issue. Now at this point, when the map's finished, your closest fuel station is going to be on the one side of the highway at that highway stop. There is going to be a deliverable fuel tank task. It's most likely going to end up at the off-road camp, and you're going to have to deliver the tank and then deliver a load of fuel to fill it up, which will open a fuel station that you can use for the rest of the adventure around the region. But again, none of that's added in. I've added in the logging area, the gateway, and I added in just a task to make some of the buildings look built. Something I figured out, I don't know if any map makers, anyone else knows about it, but if you want one of the animated buildings to spawn in your map and stay built all the time, you can link it as a model build setting to any task that you have and just put the built state and leave it as 0, and it will always stay built, so you can actually use those animated models with the finished look in your game as a static model. It's something I figured out a while ago. So I just put in a task with just whatever I smashed on the keyboard, but the key to doing that was so that I could link the model build setting and make that garage and the trailer store in the other video look finished, instead of making players build it. So I used 2 buildable models on each of the garage and trailer store, and one of them is going to be built and the other one is going to have some a delivery to build it as it would in game. So it's just something neat I found out just playing around with the game, pushing it as much as you can. Oh, I thought we were making that corner. Apparently not. The traction on this thing is pretty good. It's almost weird to not be swinging around. I'm sure I have the vanilla tires on too. Yeah, see, we're slipping a little bit, but having the extra weight of the trailer on the back is something that's helpful. Alright, so here we are on the other side. I have to move this gateway, spread it out. When you spawn from one map to the other, you end up in the middle of that zone. So I usually kind of favor it over to the side of the road that you're going to come from the other map and end up on, and then make it wide enough that you can catch it from the other side of the highway. So I kind of fudge it in there, but you'll start in the right lane when I actually do it properly. You can see the other side of that gateway. I had already stretched out that zone so you don't get the warning, but this side I haven't been in. And we're just going to scoot up here. Many of you have already played this one. This is still exactly the same as what you're playing on the South River map right now, so nothing's changed yet. This is actually the same version. I just added it in as a region just so we could do a little map hopping. You can kind of see a bit more of the finished product, but we're literally doing the same contract you would be doing on that single map. We're just taking the long logs from map 2. That's not too bad of a haul. You're going to have to do 2 of those. I'm just going to leave it at 2 for now to complete this task. And the smaller logs will be on this map in the other areas that you've been to before. So I will change up some of the loading areas, like they're going to come from over on the other map or whatnot. But the tasks are going to be kind of basically the same. But it'll be a different method of completing them. Unfortunately, you can't use the progress from the other one. When I release a region, it's a totally different mod than the single map. It was like that in the original highway hauling, unfortunately. I just don't want to spend like 3 months not releasing anything for y'all to play on if I complete the whole region in one swing. That's what I did with the Near North. And it's just too long to be away. I'd rather put out content on a little bit more regular basis. Anyways, we're here. That was a good trip. Love to know what you think. Let me know. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to y'all again real soon.